The Audubon Town Council meeting to order at 6:05. First up is the hearing on disconnects. There's a paper in front of you. Has anybody contacted you on some of these larger ones yet?
So the larger amounts are from non-shut-offs last month due to our office being short of staff. So the ones that are larger are 2 months worth. So they would have to pay that full amount in order to be turned back on if they were to be turned off.
I move to approve the disconnect.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Public comments. The Audubon principal and how it's listed on here.
I'm here again.
You want me to stand? Miss Abbott, you can come up here, yeah.
All right, so I think I know most of you guys, or at least can recognize face, but Abby Spitznagel used to be a Tolan, don't hold it against me. So, proud alumni, went to Audubon, went to Benton Central, and then kind of worked various positions through Delphi, and then back here in Bay County, so very excited to come back. So my main reason was just want to put face to name, introduce myself, but then I also have been working with Mr. Shop and some of the law enforcement. We had a safety meeting last week, to kind of a monthly one, but one of the things that got brought up was some of the safety around Audubon. Unfortunately, we don't have enough bus drivers, so if anyone's interested in driving a bus, let me know. Yep. To bus some of the kiddos in town that used to ride a bus from their house or their pickup to school. You know, I'm a parent, there's safety concerns with that. So we have a lot more kids out on the streets now, walking to school, which is a good thing. They're out walking. We do see more families walking, doing kind of a school bus walk where, you know, I may start here and I walk down and pick up some kids down the neighborhood and go. So I do think it's a good sense of community. We are lucky we have a lot of people volunteering to do that. But one of the biggest concerns we see is, I'm looking here on my map, down, don't have this one pulled up, by the old baseball fields, down by the kindergarten gym entrance is where our car rider line is. So they line up there. We've implemented signs in the car where their last name, so we can radio real quick who they are without having to stop. You know, most of the time you start recognizing vehicles, but just helps speed that up. There across the school, West Oxford Street, we are having cars parked on both sides of that street. And then down by North Columbia Street on the other side of our building, we are having parents park there and then have their children meet them there. You know, as much as we tell them, hey, this is a policy, our hands are kind of tied. What we're coming into is kids darting across the streets where buses are turning in. So obviously a safety issue. We'd like to try to have as many crossing guards and adults out that we can, but like everyone, short-staffed, and kind of struggling with that. Something that was brought up, I just wanted to bring to the board for, you know, consideration at some point would be some no parking signs between, it really is more pickup, so it'd be like 2:30 to 3:30. We could have them there on that Columbia Street and then even across. You know, I know one thing that we kind of ran into is there is one house there on Oxford Street, so there maybe need to be an exemption or like a small area there. But then at that point, we could have our law enforcement who are supportive with us ticket people who are not following policy. You know, at the end of the day, I have 267 students. I need to know where they're going home at. And if they're a car rider and I'm not putting them in that car rider line, I don't know where they're at. It's a safety, you know, in today's world, it's scary. Someone could grab those kids off the street. So I think that would help support the school and have a little more of a legal backing on that. So just something I wanted to bring to your guys'.
How many signs would you need?
Ron, do you know? Throw you under the bus here with me.
Probably 6.
6, 2, and 2.
2, yeah, 2 and 2.
Yeah, so 2 on the Columbia, and then 2 on each side of Oxford.
Is there a minimum distance between the signs?
Is it what? Is there a minimum distance between the two?
For like no parking, I don't know how often something needs to be.
Okay, we did have some signs that no parking between these two areas, and we could put the time on it. We'd have to put time on
And that's, across on Oxford Street, I would like that to be in the morning as well, because that's busy.
7:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, and then like a 2:30 to 3:30. And I don't know as far as speed limit on that road, I'm not sure what exactly it is, if they have a school zone.
Yeah, that would be a Jason question.
I don't know if it's worth doing a school zone, I know the flashing lights and all that fun stuff is,
There's
It's
there's
not always-
different rules with the speed limits in the areas,
yeah.
so.
My main concern coming to you guys would be the signs. We worked with our superintendent, and everything very supportive, and then we just work with law enforcement on that, so. Otherwise, I think things are going well. So I've got some new students for Prairie Crossing, which we were excited about, kind of growing our numbers, and some kiddos that came in from other districts, so. Cool. Very exciting. One thing I do know, we are trying to improve too is our crossing guards, to make sure they are more visible, because, if a car comes up or bus or traffic, fog, whatever it may be, sun shining just right, keeping that person safe, so trying to implement that stricter. So. Okay. But open to suggestions on whatever you guys may think might help too.
Would, if we had volunteers from the community that would be interested in crossing guards, and they fill out the background check?
Absolutely,
form?
we would love to have some crossing guards. I know we're trying to find one there by Columbia Street, but also that four-way stop. It's kind of an intersection. I know we're really excited about the trail coming in, because there are some kids that can jump over to it that don't have sidewalks. We can't sidewalk every street in town.
We try.
Unless someone here hits the lottery, maybe we can.
You let them, you send it my way.
Yes.
Here.
So we are very excited about that trail. I think that will be a great asset as well for our students.
Dee, can we put that in the newsletter next, about if there's any volunteers that would like to do those jobs? We can put that in the newsletter too, to see if that'll.
Yeah.
Start anybody.
And you can put my email or school phone number, whatever, contact. Okay.
Yes, Ron.
Amy would probably also, since we're doing Thursday, we'll do crosswalks too. We'll get them
Or paint them.
at the intersection, so.
Okay. And I don't think we have a problem with the sign, I just have to check funding
And that's something too, if that becomes an issue, let me know.
Okay.
And maybe the school, the town could work together on some things.
but I don't have a problem with that if we've got the money to buy it.
Well, we appreciate that. I think we have a couple, local businesses that kind of help us out on some things, so maybe they would be willing to do some sponsorship or help us get that cost down.
All right, yes, Tim?
I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
Would you be interested in any of the signs that you would put in the middle of the road with flashing lights that say, stop for, if you have a crossing guard? They use them in Dayton on a state highway, and that'd be something that, I know the people in Dayton, if they have a couple extra ones, to see if we can
Yeah.
steal one from them.
That would be, anything that you guys think would be a great idea for safety. I know we're talking about crossing guards, but now we are also looking at the stop signs that light up, we need to get more of those, because right now we have one. So if anyone knows anything laying around, I'll gladly go pick them up. So,
Do your crossing guards have to have any
Training,
criteria? Yeah, training,
background.
does it need
Background check
background?
and,
They don't need to live in the town of Otterman.
No,
background check and I guess just
A
vision enough to know if,
Yeah,
a willingness to help.
okay,
So, is that-
that's good to know.
I know they've never turned volunteers down in the past. I think we'll set the ball in motion and keep you in the loop.
Awesome, thank you. And I have Ron can get in touch with me.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
And welcome back, Abby.
Thanks.
All right. Tim, phase 2 approval, sorry, wrong Tim.
Right.
Third Tim. I was like, oh, we got more than one Tim in the room tonight.
I met with Dave, Buck, and Russell about a week ago, and we met at the park. And they made a recommendation list, I believe, a couple of weeks ago. And so we revised what we thought about where to place the fence And we went with the recommendation that they had to stay 15 feet away from the water tower, with one exception where it comes down, and I'm sorry, 15 foot away from the water tower and 5 foot away from the pump house. And we've done that, except for there's a pinch point, and it's right on the corner of that pump house, and we made it about 3 feet in clearance. And I made a drawing of it. If anybody wants to see it, I think Dee has it as well. But nevertheless, we went through that, and I believe the reason for the recommendation is for security issues. And I don't know that being 3 feet away versus 5 feet away, how important that was. So anyway, we had a pinch point for just like 5 feet when you walk through there. Otherwise, it's 5 foot. The closest you can get to the pump house is 5 foot, other than about a 4 foot area. And we have a drawing if you want to see that. The other issue was on drainage. We're concerned about the water going to the one area much faster, running off, going in a tile and running out. We viewed that as well, and after looking at the slopes that are already on the court, the water is going there now. It's just a matter of whether or not how fast it gets there, but it's still going to the same location. So we're not changing the way the water flows or how much water is getting there. It might get there a little quicker, but I think that in that particular area, if it rains 2 to 3 inches, it's going to be, the tile isn't going to make any difference anyway. It's going to be wet and muddy and that type of thing in that one location. So we reviewed that, and I don't believe, well, there was we talked about putting at the end of the tile, an animal guard and something else.
Some rock.
There you go. And that's what we talked about, and that would control what we have now, and we can put the retaining wall in with the pipe. And I believe that was kind of our findings on the phase 2 portion of it. Dave can enlighten anybody if I have not seen it. Did you create a memo or anything? Yeah. Okay. I have not seen that, and I'd like to get a copy of that. So I guess what I'm looking for is, I got one. Approval to move forward on phase 2 with the new revised drawings that we have. Is there any questions?
Dave, you guys are fine. I read your thing, but.
Were there any questions from the council on the memo, or you want me to go through anything in more detail? Tim is correct. They revised the fence to meet for the water tower separation of 15 feet, and as good as we can get for the pump house, the well house. And that's really as much about security and maintenance to be able to get around it. If somebody's intent on getting to there, the difference between 3 and 5 feet is not going to keep it from going. It's kind of what it comes down to. The tile that they're putting in is along this west side of the courts. It'll be inside basically a trench drain with stone on top of it, and the outside's held up by this retaining wall. That's going to get, well, taller as you get north, because it's a little bit more elevation change. But even there, it's 1.5 foot tall, maybe 2. So that will be what the courts sheet flow into, and then filter through that rock. And we, in the memo, recommended that the tile be 6 inches with a sock around it to keep it from clogging up over the years and growing things inside of it, such like that. And to also put some clean outs on it so that if it does ever have a problem on the one end or one in the middle would be great. I don't know how long that run was, but it's probably 100 feet or better, the whole length. So to just put a Y in,
The whole link.
Yeah.
turn up a clean out so that if it ever does need maintenance, it have some access points on 3 places. The patio area is new pavement, and so is the sidewalk. So that additional runoff, while it's not a large area, it's not small either, that area should sheet to the west as much as possible, so that runoff goes away from the north, and we're not trying to add water to where we're now going to direct this tile towards. And as you said, you know, the difference between the rain events and the ground conditions between the area that might pond pre-project versus post-project, that's hard to say. It's gonna depend on a lot of factors about how intense the rain was, how wet the ground already is. And given it's not a new area going to that area, it's really about that time of concentration for the water to have a pipe to get through versus have to go through the ground, go over the ground. And since it's not that far, it's really hard to make any kind of calculations on that to say with any certainty, because all the other factors have some amount of degree of accuracy with them. It's kind of a wash. So it's more of a wait and see if it's a big problem, but there's no outlet for the water to connect in a new tile or new drain. So until there is a time, if it is a concern on a regular basis, it's gonna have to wait to be solved until we get some of the stormwater improvements done on the south end that we've been working on the stormwater PER that we did recently. And that could be connected at that time. But again, it's such a small area. If you wanna add a bunch of other paving, I would recommend against it. But these are, I think, small enough areas where if it's wet, it's gonna be wet already from the ground conditions, and it's, it shouldn't stay wet any longer, because there's really, the only new water is the patio, new runoff from paved areas. So,
Russell was out there when you guys walked around.
yes,
Everything.
the maypole thing is the low point, and water ponds, that's where it's gonna pond at, but we are specifically saying put the out at the corner of the courts to keep it away from that to where it might soak in and be able to run a different direction and come back to that, because the patio area will be eventually headed to that area. So in some ways, it's kind of good that these two drainage basins are being separated and directed a little bit differently so that they will not compound each other, immediately. But I think that was it. Oh, the parking along Brown Street, we had some information in there too about that. Tim provided a sketch of that area. There's 13 parking spaces, I think, normal parking space was 20 feet deep, and some shorter ones at the trees to stay out of the tree roots are 16 feet deep. That's adequate to get your car and your tires on it and be off the street. And the front bumper can hang over the end of the stone, but you may want to have some railroad ties or vertical, telephone pole or something cut off to just keep people going farther than they're supposed to, or being able to drive out into the lawn. And they do have separation to the driveway for the water plant.
Okay.
And they are showing bollards around the fire hydrant. And I put some recommendations in here too about the depth of stone, and put some geotextile fabric down after it's excavated and prepped and ready to put stone. I'll put that fabric down first to help strengthen it and bridge everything, and also keep dirt work from working up into the stone.
And parking's technically phase 3, correct?
Yeah.
So we just need phase 2 approval, right, tonight?
Yes,
Phase
phase
two.
3 has already been approved for
They
the
did
parking.
it.
I thought phase 3 was.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what she's asking. Yeah, phase 3 has already been
I'm-
approved for the
I've
parking.
had a lot.
The only thing I have on phase 3 that might be a little bit different is that putting in the railroad ties around the outside, that is part of phase 3, and I don't say that we should do it. It probably won't happen, that part won't happen this year. That's kind of an internal thing, because we had volunteers for, we no longer have volunteers for the week that I'm doing the digging, so, we'll just leave it at that.
That's fine.
And we need volunteers to put that in. Now, I don't know, maybe everybody wants to grab the shovel and help, I don't know, but at this moment, we were gonna put the stone in, compact it, and, put the fabric in and finish it, and it would be ready to be parked on. The difference would be that the railroad ties we put in maybe in the spring or whatever. Phase 2 would not be completed this year anyway. I don't know if we have enough money to do phase 2 entirely, but we do have, quite a bit of the money, already raised. And we have commitments to budgets that, if we get approval, to move forward with that. So I don't know how long it'll take to raise the rest of the money, but I think we'll give you a portion of it, like the cents,
Yeah.
or whatever. And get some of that done maybe this fall yet, but it just takes a little time and money and patience, and,
All of it rolled up into one.
yeah, it just but the courts are done.
They look
They're
nice.
finally all completed, nets are all that's done, and, get a chance, go down and look at it. If we get a better chance, you can all try to get a paddle in your hand and.
So what's the kind of the timeframe of the parking area?
I'm sorry?
The time frame for the parking area?
When you're
We're
gonna
gonna
start doing
start digging on the 8th, September 8th.
that? Okay, because
Next
Ron called
Monday.
in the 811 ticket today. I went down there with him and we just marked the whole west side front of the,
For electric, what was that?
for the parking area.
Yeah, I know, but what was the flags for?
Is that just your
For them to
side?
locate, for the people that
Oh,
come out and
okay,
do
okay,
the locations of that area.
Yeah, we're gonna stake it before the weekend, and then Monday we were gonna start digging.
Okay.
That's the 8th. And that's what's planned, because we're coordinating this with the town.
Yeah,
2 days,
Two business days.
yeah, 2 business days for them to do the locates.
Right.
So that's.
Friday, Monday.
Monday,
Yeah.
what time?
They called it in yesterday, or called it in Wednesday, didn't they?
No, he called it in today. This
Called it
morning.
in today, okay.
Monday,
So is that,
Monday morning.
whatever time you
Okay.
call in, be Monday morning that time.
well, Monday, we're just, there's not gonna be a lot done, it's just getting equipment down there and this type of thing, but
And so it's gonna be both sides of the drive going into the plant?
No.
No.
It's just on the north.
just on the north side of the,
Oh, okay, of the drive?
yes, for now. Maybe someday it'll be,
Well, he has to the north and south, so
Right.
that's why there's flags all the way down there for the locates.
we're putting in, I think it's 13 spots or 12 or 13 new parking spots.
On the
We're
north.
right there by the trees, and then we have to skip, there is a fire hydrant there. And then we're skipping that and then putting in, I think, two more there or 3 more there.
And
And
you're going only a foot deep at max?
on stone,
Yeah, it's scraping it and digging, because
9 inches, isn't it total? Is that what you
Inches of
have?
limestone and 6
8-inch
inches.
nail.
Well, we're putting fabric down. That geotex fabric,
Okay.
So 3 inches of the limestone and 6 inches of the 53, so
Yeah.
9 inches.
Okay.
unless you're driving cranes on that, that should hold up hard pretty well, isn't it?
Right, yeah, I was just making sure, because we have a storm drain running through there and then, water main.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right, well, we need approval for phase 2 for the town park.
Make a
Can I
motion.
Craig and Linda. Approved. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? There, you got your phase 2 approval.
Okay.
No more work.
You want to see you for another 2 weeks?
It's their next meeting.
Well, I'm just sure I'll be back again. Thank you all.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome. And that was perfect timing. We can take care, pause the town council meeting. No, just leave it going. Yep, we're gonna pause the town council meeting. We're gonna move into the special meeting
Right.
for the
The 5th district.
TIF district.
So there, we have to pass down. Would you mind?
Oh, sir.
Sorry, I'll tell you, go ahead. So, as you've heard, the redevelopment commission approved the 2 economic development plans, one for Otterman Central and one for Otterman Darby, and approved the TIF district for Otterman Central and the TIF district for Otterman Darby. And then you heard that the plan commission approved the resolution by the RDC to pass those plans and TIF districts. So the plan commission has approved it in their resolution and the RDC has approved it in their resolution. So what you have in that packet is the smaller footnotes in front are the first 2 are ordinances 2025-0918A and 0918B.
And those are just being introduced tonight, they're not being passed tonight, they won't be signed tonight, that's why they're numbered for your next meeting. But their purpose is to designate the area that we're going to have for TIF districts in Tippecanoe County and Benton County for residential TIF districts. And so they include maps and legal descriptions of the area. And that you're aware of the plans, the public is gonna get a notice in the paper about the plans, and then you're gonna consider, just like the RDC did the declaratory resolution, and they're gonna come back October 2nd and do a confirmatory resolution. This is kind of a similar process at the town council level. You are considering the introduction of this ordinance tonight that will designate those two areas, and you'll approve it on September 18th. Is the plan, is what we're hoping for. And so there's not gonna be any action taken on ordinance 2025-0918A and B. They're just to be introduced tonight, but they're the ordinances that would designate this TIF district as an official act of the town. So mission accomplished on my little agenda that I did of things that we need to accomplish tonight. That's items number 1 and 2, is to introduce those two ordinances. Items 3 and 4 are your approval, your resolution to approve the Plan Commission's resolution that approves the RDC's resolutions for the Economic Development Plan in the 2 TIF districts. There's got to be approval by all 3 bodies to get the process started, and that you're the 3rd body on this tonight to get this process going. And so nothing's changed. The only thing that's in the big paperclip in your packet are just copies of the things that were considered in earlier meetings tonight. So you probably have 2 or 3 copies of those things now. But I wanted to be able to say, if I was ever asked, did you actually get copies of these items that you're approving? And so that's why the redundancy. Sorry, I wasn't even thinking that the RDC and the town council would be getting the same package.
Remember that more than not enough.
Yeah, so anyway, again, there are maps with pictures attached on the 2 ordinances that were introduced tonight and to be considered at your next meeting, and the 2 resolutions, which are resolution
E and F.
E and F, are to approve what's taken place in the earlier 2 meetings tonight.
We need a motion to approve resolution 2025-0904E. And that is the Honorable Central District. Linda?
I'll second.
Brad. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And then an approval of resolution 2025-0904F for the Darby TIF district. Approve that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
And I'm going to send around 2 copies of both. You signed again? One for D, one for.
Want us to print again?
Yes, please, just because I don't know if these will be recorded.
Well, that's just me.
Okay, and secretary?
No, it just has president.
Well, yeah, but like if we're attested by the clerk treasurer.
Yeah.
That makes it easy. And I don't know if you have any other questions about all of that for me, or I don't know if there's any new audience here to ask more questions, but if there's nothing else about these, then a motion to adjourn the special meeting and return to your regular meeting.
Do we need to wait for Treva to come back to sign these, or can we sign them?
Kurt, if you can say.
Make a motion to adjourn the special meeting.
6:35. Moves on for D.
Colin, there's only one more thing.
And then we will read, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And then we will resume the town council meeting at 6:35. All right, approval of the August 2025 minutes.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the August 25 minutes, 2025.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? General, 19,654.29, LE lease, police training, 44.25, donation parks, 47,333.24, community center funds, 300, water and utilities, 90,344.19, next level trail grant project, 983.41, water operating, 35,860.62, customer utility deposit fund, 150, wastewater treatment operating 38,567.20, stormwater utility operating 2,315.79, payroll 30,280.16, for a grand total of 265,833.15.
I make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? I just like to catch up.
Oh, you're okay.
Did you get the motions?
Yeah, I did. Thanks.
So you did what I did.
Okay, I did too. I was like, all right, Judd, you're still up.
There you go. Here's nothing but-
And you might not need to be on this one because I'm not sure. If it was on maybe another one.
Yeah, we just did all of that.
That's what I figured.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and we're tabling C for next time.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Judd, that was really quick.
I feel like I haven't
I
done
should have
one.
reached out to him, but I think there's been a lot,
Yeah.
so I didn't.
Yeah,
So,
we're good. All right, Dave?
The only thing we have is just give you an update, answering questions on the trail project. We already talked about the park construction under Tim. That was what that was for, but the trail project's progressing well. The topsoil removal is essentially complete and been hauled to the correct location.
Where did the second pile of dirt end up?
Borsman.
Hmm?
Borsman. That's where he wanted it.
Interesting.
He has a pile up there already.
So did they haul it up there?
Yes.
At least he had a pile.
And they've got a
Get us
lot.
out there.
Yeah, and the tile has been connected, and Russell and I met with the property owner almost 2 weeks ago now and discussed exactly what the existing tile did, and were able to convey that to Milestone. So it reduced the amount of work they had to do technically with some contract. So it basically was just reconnecting the tile under the trail with a stronger material pipe that will never ever have to be a problem, but it's deep enough, it's not ever gonna be a problem from loads driving over it. This farm equipment's much heavier than anything that'll ever be on the trail, which is fine, but, that issue's done, I think backfilled, and we've got a lot of stone base put in, and they're continuing that operation now, so the dry weather is helping that, and that's appreciated, so I still have to get with Milestone on the list of patching and, the Briar Park amenities, but we did have a progress meeting, and I missed it last week, but it was last Thursday morning. I briefly talked to Josh, our inspector, and saw the meeting notes. Were you on the call, Roger?
Yeah, I was out here. It was raining the whole time. As soon as I pulled up, it started raining. As soon as it was over, it stopped. I don't think there was, I mean, what you said, talk about the tile, the dirt, that was okay. That was about the biggest discussion point.
Did they discuss schedule at all? Usually we talk about the next
A
3
little
weeks.
bit about when the bridge, they're trying to figure out when the bridge, how that's gonna coordinate and how they're pretty much trying to figure out how to
Get it from.
get it underneath the power poles is the biggest problem. I think.
What was the anticipated delivery?
October something.
They're gonna meet with, well, we've already tracked down that Duke will not do anything to de-energize that line for any period of time.
Of course.
Well, we can't, it's your main feed, so, and we don't want to, but that's not our problem. The logistics, Austin's gonna have to work with their supplier and their delivery company to get it off the truck and on the end bits.
If I get right, it's like the second week of October, I believe.
And if you all would like, we can share the meeting minutes, our progress and the notes. and
You
minutes
just send it
with the
via
council.
email would be good.
Yeah, that's how we get,
Yeah.
usually a day or two after the meeting, but
Yeah.
we can forward those on. And see if you have any questions, just reply to them.
Do they know when paving might actually start? Are they gonna wait closer to
I
the
got it right here.
church or the bridge or?
Let's see,
Their original schedule had it right after the bridge was installed.
correct.
Then once they mentioned paving.
That kind of makes sense, but.
Yeah.
We're gonna
And
have
we've
this-
also been communicating with the church and the farming and timing of harvest. There's a driveway that they have going in on the project to replace the one that's there, and that's their current access point. So Milestone's aware that there has to be a plan B if plan A isn't already in when it's time to harvest, so they can't cut their access off. And or make them drive across brand new trail that they will damage. But their new driveway is thicker and meant to be for farm field traffic. So if it's in and in place before harvest, that's fine. If it's not, they need to provide stone access either in that location or next to it to where they can get across there.
So then when they get all the gravel in, are they gonna move to then do the CCMG portion of it?
Yeah, they'll work on the pipe and getting the underground stuff done, probably after the stone.
So 10/17 that week is lit up. So it'll be the 12th, when the Fed Bridge is coming, and then paving will be basically the week after that.
But their schedule will be on that meeting summary.
I'm trying to find the actual week summary. My phone is not cooperating.
I already filed my copy, so.
Final
There where that field is, a few years ago, they kind of cut a trench in for drainage from that field to go to the ditch.
Which field?
The, just west of the church. Somebody had got in there and they just trenched out, just excavated some dirt. Is that still gonna be able to drain?
I'm not sure without looking at the plans in that specific spot. It's not very much of a depressional ditch or swale that I'm aware of or seeing, but it's covered, maybe covered up now with corn, but, if we caught it and there's a dip in the trail that could drain across the trail, is it going westerly or easterly at drain?
Be going east towards the,
Actually going south towards the drain
Towards the Oxford,
wall.
towards the Oxford Street ditch? Yeah, we'll have to look at that and make sure we don't dam it up.
Okay.
So,
So the bridge is getting moved up in schedule. Milestone, the crane company, is set to, the pedestrian bridge will be meeting on site. Looks like it's now mid-September. Tentative delivery date, mid-September.
we're gonna have to get moving on pipeline. It's like 2 weeks.
So maybe they'll start piling and not CCG stuff, right?
Well, it might be, I would be its own crew.
Crew. Anything else, Dave, or us for them?
Just, so in the pilings and the consideration for that bridge, in my lifetime, I've seen that ditch within about a foot of the road. So that was all considered.
Yeah, and both the county surveyor and the state have given permits for the construction and as well as the design and hydraulic study that we did. We're actually wider than the ditch. It actually, we're going to be wider and longer span than the bridge for Oxford Street itself. And so it's going to be raised up. So we haven't got to that point yet, but when you see the bridges up in Secaucus built, they're going to be higher than the road. And they're going to be it's going to be longer than the bridge. So we'll be out of the way of any of that, so we don't impact any of the hydraulics of the ditch and the bridge.
Flows to the north, right?
It
Or
flows
close
south. Yeah, it flows south and curves and goes
That's right.
to
Yeah,
south.
that was a whole long process.
Yeah.
I just remember floating it when it was that high. So.
Brave of you.
We're stupid kids.
Yeah, that was a long
Yeah.
process. Right, you have questions?
No question, that was a big change that I saw there.
Okay. Tim?
Just a couple things, we're obviously continuing updates on safety training. Jason, Bridget, and myself have had a couple meetings on, getting information out to some of the homeowners that are not following our ordinances to make sure that we're getting them to clean up their properties. So we have, we're so starting to see a couple more places. So we want to get that information out to them. Wrapping up on putting, updating all your ADA transition plan stuff. So that's all going to be available for you guys to want to see and see what the updates are.
Well, we have to approve those.
And then the last thing is, we were talking about this before the meeting started. We have the contract from High Point or whatever on a hospital tower down on the property of the waste treatment plant. And what does that contract look like? So the verbiage in the contract, it was pretty long, but it basically comes down to almost 5 figures a year. So our original company that we talked to was on a one-time payment of $40,000, and we'll get that back in 2.25 years from this other company.
Is this the Iron Mountain Towers?
Yes. So, taking into consideration, we need to take a look at that and decide, is this something we really want to do? The amount of property that they want to use is very small. The tower will have no cables, it'll be self-supporting. So it will be a Verizon tower.
Do you have a site plan to that?
We do, yes.
Can we look at that to make sure it's not in a bad spot?
Yes.
So that's still in the shuffle around.
So their space that they're leasing, it says it's on a 2.8 acre parcel that the town owns. And they're going to have a 100-foot by 100-foot area of it, so 10,000 square feet. And so I don't know what other plans the town had for the other acreage, but there's one provision there, and I just saw this, so I didn't tell you about this earlier. It says that you agree that you can't lease to any other tower company any of your real estate on that property or within 1 mile, which seems a little bit broad.
But we can also take that out of the contract.
That's a non-compete. And I mean, if they're gonna buy your rights to use your other properties that you may have or come into in the future with that restriction on it, they should pay for that too. That shouldn't just be thrown in. That's very valuable. I mean, 50 years is a long time to type of, what if all we have are towers too? I mean, we don't use wires anymore. 10 years from now, the tower space is going to be the queen of the realm, and you're
just agreeing basically that nothing that you own can be used for tower space for 50 years. Otherwise, the contract was fine, but that stood out.
That's one thing that because when I talked to Derek, in regards to the contract, he said they're used to attorneys coming back saying there's certain language that they want to take out. It'd be something we would negotiate with them to say, let's take it out. I really feel like after talking to Crown Castle and their programs, they all pretty much say the same thing, but their whole idea is they don't want you to put anything else on your property because then they're gonna lease out to an AT&T, T-Mobile, Cricket, whatever the other, all those.
Is that who the other offer was from?
They were both Verizon.
But Crown Castle was the other company?
No, Crown Castle is a company that we work with the city of West Lafayette. Crown Castle is in the process of selling all their small sites and just maintaining the large city towers.
So the city of Attica just entered into a long-term lease with Crown Castle that had some pretty competitive rates in it. Just FYI, which is a public document if you want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, let me take a look at that. And then we'll report back in the next meeting.
Okay. Is that all you have, Jim?
Yes.
What about condemned properties or?
That's one of the other things Jason and I were talking about, because we're gonna get some information out. We're gonna have to adopt some type of programs that when condemned properties on how much time we give them to be able to come back with what they're going to do, or we're gonna have it demoed, and if we have it demoed, and we pay for it, how do we get reimbursed on a piece of property like that? Because we have a couple of those here. So,
I got a whole system set up
okay, with Judge,
with forms.
that'll be brought back to you guys, to the council to approve a program on what we can, how we can do something.
That's in place in Warren County and like 5 other towns in the city of that area. Same thing, same forms. So I mean, if we get calls about it, the idea is to keep us out of it. Like the only time we're ever involved is if everything else has failed and you've done all these steps and they're still not complying. And you've liened the property and it's getting collected like property taxes, so we don't even need to be involved in that. But you want to do an ordinance violation against them, then we're involved. But we've set this up to like literally make so minimal our role in this that just be run, like you say, as a program. It's a great way to describe it. In fact, it comes with flow charts. Have you seen the flow charts? Yeah. So, I mean, it's all factored out.
Can we have that for the next meeting then?
Yes.
So we can get a roll on fixing that problem?
Yes. And then at the next meeting, we'll also bring some updated issues for zoning, number one, and then number two on what we are thinking about moving to as far as permitting fees. To be something more of what we're seeing in other local communities, because we're pretty low compared to everybody else.
Any other questions or? Okay. Deandra.
So, Triva did send you guys, and explained everything on the quote that Russell, got for the Ford 2010, 350 truck. So the full total for the truck bed, is $2,700.
And
So
that
instead of
includes-
replacing the whole truck, it's just replacing the bed.
That includes the bed, the bumper, and the shipping to get it here.
Yes.
Because as Russell put it, it's clear up in the top of
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. And to haul a trailer up there, spend the night, haul the trailer back, the shipping was cheaper.
And we did get our last bed from up there and no problems.
And it's an actual red bed, so we don't have to repaint it or anything. So I will make a motion to approve the $2,700 for the truck bed.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
And then last, I just wanted to remind the council for the budget hearing and budget meeting. So it's Tuesday, September 16th at 5:30.
Anything else, Steve?
No, that's it.
Any others from anybody else?
I have a question. Do we have anybody going to the AIM program in French Lick in October?
The AIM representative that was assigned to our district was looking into having a meeting with us. Trevor was in talks with him because he was gonna come here, we were looking at other towns to come. But I don't know when that's at.
Because I didn't go into all those meetings on behalf of the town to this point, so.
I've been to a few in the past.
It's a good conference.
When is it, Tim?
It's like October 21st to 23rd or 20th to
I think it's
22nd.
I know it starts on, I know it's October 20th, because that's my wife's birthday, and I know I'll be down there. I think it's like the 20th to the 23rd or something.
21st to the 23rd.
21st, I don't tell them on that 20th to the 20th.
When they open up the reservations, you've got like 10 minutes to get rid of them, and then
You have to get the 3 days to get
Yeah.
the
The room right
the
now.
room or that.
Well, there's a bunch of AIM messages going out now between different groups saying, if you're not gonna use yours, let us know, because we need to find a hotel.
They're interesting conferences, if you ever get a chance to go to one, which we always have a chance to go. I went to the new member one when I first got on. That was a interesting weekend. And then I think I went to another one when it was in Indy. Dave and I shared or when we went. But you learn a lot. Not just about our job, but everybody else's job. So, and then you get to meet a lot of other people.
I was gonna say, it's nice to know, because if you get on an email list, which I am for the town of Otterman, it's amazing some of the questions that get asked from all the different municipalities, and how do you do this, how do you do this, and people reply saying, well, this is what our program is, and it really helps everybody out.
And then there's one vendor evening, day, whatever, and then you get to see all the pretty places and all the vendors. Here, have a pen, here, have a flashlight, here, have a koozie, have a,
stuff out here.
We don't do that one.
used to.
These things, is that?
Used to.
Now it was taken out.
What is it?
That's a clarifier. Blue box key.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, let's see, can they put, if that's the tower, can they even do that? Will there be a setback from, it tips over, it takes out your sewer facility, it's gonna be an issue. So the map, we made the,
We'll have comments.
yeah.
okay. Comment away. All right, anything else? Need a motion to adjourn at 6:58.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? All opposed? I don't think that's too bad for all stuff